right. So you want me to start the bike now, or? Okay. Neutral. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to give the Nightster a test ride to see what it's all about. I've ridden the Sportster for close to 2 years, and the Sportster has a big place in my heart, so I'm excited to see what Harley has done to give this Nightster a big facelift to the Sportster line. So right off the bat, I'll say that the thing that I really did not like about the Nightster, outside of the price, was the seating position. But to touch on the price, the Nightster comes in at a hefty $13,500 for the black version, and then it's a $400 jump if you want a different color. I'll talk a little bit more about the price later in this video.
Woo! Alright guys, so I am on the Nightster today. I'm at Bull Run, Manassas, Harley Davidson, and just going for a test ride on the new Nightster. New release for 2022. So I'm just going to give you guys just an overall first impression. Obviously this is not going to be a full review. Just going to give you guys my thoughts. I don't know exactly how long these test rides are, but yeah, I'm loving this. This is low weight. This is a super nice bike. You know, my general first thoughts is the price is just really, really high on these Nightsters. Just the camera. All right, so let's go over my first impressions on the seating position. It's very low. Maybe it's because I'm coming from the Lowrider ST, but I am definitely hunched over. For me, I'm 5'8", and I had to lean all the way forward to get to the handlebars. And then the mid controls on the Nightster place my legs sort of awkwardly beneath me. It's like they wanted you to have a little bit more of a sport bike riding position, but on a low sitting cruiser, that just doesn't work. I think forward controls would have been a much better choice on this. The engine is very quiet, very smooth actually. I can't wait to test this out a little bit more. Open up the engine. Right now I'm in third gear. Also, what immediately jumped out at me was just the lack of character. The Nightster was terribly quiet, and even when you tried to twist the throttle, the exhaust noise was underwhelming at best. All of this was actually designed that way. The hydraulic valve flash adjustment ensures quiet operation, and the internal balancers reduce engine vibration to enhance rider comfort and improve vehicle durability. This is actually counterintuitive to what Sportsters used to mean for me. The gears are something that I need to get kind of used to. They're a little funny, and obviously you got these mid controls, which feels good, but with the low adjusted stance, I'm not quite used to it. Let's check this bike out. All right, so we all know that the gas tank is underneath. This is just the airbox cover. This bike resembles the Sportster more so than the Sportster S, obviously. I forgot that this is in rain mode. I need to adjust the mode. Can I adjust the mode while riding? There we go. Highway mode. How does that feel? Way smoother. There we go. My bad, guys. All right, and then I'm gonna put it into sport mode, because that's what we're here to do. Woo! Wow. Way different on sport mode. This thing just has torque. The rain mode was just kind of dampening my mood, harshing my mellow, but the sport mode, man, yeah, there we go. Lastly, as a Harley rider, it will take a bit of time to get used to the new controls. Say what you will, but the self-canceling turn signals on Harleys is one of those things that you don't know how much you enjoy it until it's gone. And certainly take some time to get used to having your turn signals on the left side of the handlebar. Still getting used to this long clutch here. Not quite used to that. So obviously the controls are over here, very, very similar to metric system. You got your left, right turn signals, horn, modes and all that. We're not gonna focus on that. Just gonna focus on how this bike feels. And so far, man, this is smooth. What a smooth bike. I don't know if I could ride this for an extended period of time just because of how hunched over I am, but man, this is, let's go. Let's get some giddy up. Come on. Woo! Yeah. This is putting a smile on my face. The bike just has so much torque and it delivers it so smoothly. Guys, you all need to try this out.
The Nightster comes with a 975 Revolution Max engine that pumps out 90 horsepower and 70 foot-pounds of torque. Those numbers aren't anything to sneeze at. I was an idiot and forgot to turn on the sport mode and was riding the first 3 minutes on the rain mode, which I don't even know why they include that as a feature. But after I realized my mistake, I had the sport mode on and it was game over.
There we go. I haven't been out of third gear yet as of this test ride, so curious if we'll get a chance to do that.
You kind of forget about all these little inconveniences and you really just feel the power and torque and the silky smooth delivery of all that power. It was really enjoyable to ride.
So obviously the gas tank is underneath the seat, and that's supposed to give this like a lower center of gravity, a little bit more stability and nimbleness. And I don't know if that necessarily translates for me, but it is a very nimble bike. It is a very smooth bike, and it feels very stable.
Throughout this test ride, I was hoping that we would be able to take it on the highway, but on regular back roads, I was only able to really get up to fourth gear. And actually, those are all the gears I needed to have a spirited ride. The bike felt really confident, and in turn made me feel really confident as well. Maybe it's the fact that the gas tank is underneath the seat and has a lower center of gravity, but the bike didn't feel top heavy like my Iron 883. I felt in control of this bike through and through.
Turning nice and smooth. I'll also say the seat is actually more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. It feels pretty firm, but also very cushy. The biggest gripe that I have right now is already like 10-15 minutes into the ride, and this forward position with the mid controls, it's not working for me. I am hunched over. This is a 30-minute bike right here. A 30-minute, 1 hour max, and then you're gonna need to get up and stretch that back. Yeah, I think forward controls, if I was like out here, that might be more comfortable, like on the Sportster S, but it is what it is for right now.
The Nightster comes with your traditional exposed shocks, and I was surprised that the suspension on the Nightster actually felt really comfortable. And I know that it only has a few inches of travel, but I felt like it absorbed a lot of the bumps and cracks on the road. I did notice, however, that after my demo ride, that maybe the reason for this is being that they put the suspension on the highest setting. But either way, that setting really worked for me. The seat also felt actually pretty comfortable.
Wow. The engine is just so smooth. Just wants to eat up these curves. These curves are just effortless.
Typical stock Harley seats are pretty terrible in terms of comfort. They tend to look good but feel horrible after an hour. However, on the Nightster, I felt the seat was quite adequate. And I was worried that I would have a hard time staying in the seat pocket, but I think because of how forward I was leaned over, I didn't have that problem at all. The gear shifter took some time getting used to. It doesn't have that tactile feedback that typical Harley shifters have.
Alright, so I am on fourth gear. Also, the suspension isn't bad. I haven't felt any really hard potholes or anything like that yet so far, but man, this has been a smooth ride. Brakes feel good.
So overall, if you take the price tag out of the conversation, essentially you have a bike that can pretty much compete with the likes of Indian, Triumph, Honda, as well as others. I love the fact that it retains some of the classic Harley looks from the old Sportster, and based on the premier event, a big selling point for the Nightster is the ability to customize, but that also goes for just about any Harley.
Yeah, that feels good.
But once you drop the price into the conversation, that's where everything changes, doesn't it? You can easily get similar specs from a Honda Rebel for much less, like $4,000 to $5,000 less. And unfortunately, there's nothing that really jumps out at me enough on the Nightster. What makes the Harley Davidson Nightster unique? What separates this bike from the competition? With the old Evo Sportsters, you could say that those are bikes that harken to Harley's heritage with the raw feel and the great sound. That's enough to make some people choose those Harleys over other bobbers. But now that you've taken that classic Evo engine out of the Sportster, you're just left with a bike that resembles a Sportster but performs just like the competitors and with a heftier price tag. I will say though, for what it's worth, the Nightster was a blast to ride. If you're a thrill seeker that wants torque at their fingertips and price isn't really a factor, the Nightster might be a bike for you.
All right, I know I'm gonna come off sounding like an old man, but yo, this bike position is just not working for me. You know, I have a little bit of a dad bod, a dad gut. It's like Louis C.K. said, it's like trying to fold a bowling ball in half. That's what I'm feeling right now, yo. But yeah, I'm giddy. This is fun. This is a fun bike.
Overall, it's a great bike. I had a ton of fun on this bike, and I can see how, you know, this bike would really serve well for those who like twisty roads or live in the city and need a quick, nimble bike.
If this was priced at $10K, I would be going in and trading in my Grom, my kids, for this bike right now. Of course, I would probably bring up the handlebars to right up here, just a little bit higher, and then maybe forward controls on this. I don't know, but then that takes away the look of the Sportster, or the Nightster, sorry Nightster. Just a great ride. So something that I haven't really talked about much is the suspension. The suspension feels really good, very smooth. Like, I'm not feeling a lot of these bumps at all. I don't know what setting they have on the Nightster on this, on the rear suspension, but it feels really good to me.
I can't justify getting the Nightster over some of the other bobbers out there, especially when the Nightster is just well overpriced from some other competitors. But you make that decision. You know, it's your hard-earned cash. If you're a Harley enthusiast through and through, the Nightster might be a great pick for you if you want something small, nimble, fast, and a lot of fun. But for me, I think Harley definitely missed the mark on this Nightster.
Also, you know, as I'm accelerating fairly hard, I'm not pushing back on my seat because of how forward I am. So you're almost ready to accelerate. I know I dog on Harley from time to time, but man, this is great. Great step forward. We still need to talk about the price a little bit. That was a turtle. Oh man, that was a turtle in the middle of the street. I don't know what that signal means, but train tracks. Yes. Alright, I'm gonna try to push myself as forward as possible so I can kind of sit upright. Woo! Guys, this is a blast to ride. The brakes are a little bit spongy for my taste, coming from a Lowrider S though. Oh man, you can also adjust the levers if you wanted to. Didn't know that. Nice little touch. Hell yeah. So last thing, let's talk about aesthetics on this bike. Really like the fact that they went with these bar end mirrors, so you get a clear line of sight over the handlebars, so nothing is obstructing your view, and you're just focusing on the road, because the way that you're leaned forward on this bike, your face is just right over the handlebars pretty much. You do have to peek down a little bit to get at the cluster, but it's not as drastic as my Lowrider S. Really like that they provide you with the modes, but no thank you, give me something else. So let's be real, everyone's just gonna go with the sport mode on this bike. That rain mode was so whack. Oh, my back. Yeah, so this is how far I have to lean over. This is a fun bike. Is it good enough that you'd be willing to cough up $13,500, $14,000 MSRP? Oof, that is the question. I mean, if you have a coin and you can reasonably afford this bike, by all means, this is great. This is a fantastic bike. It's definitely not your typical Harley. It's smooth, it's quiet, It just doesn't have that raw feel. It's feels very streamlined. This will be a great second bike for anybody.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning into the video. I hope you all enjoyed my first impression of the Nightster. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, I'll check you all later. Peace.